I'd like to introduce you to Jens Kohler. He is a art historian. I took a class from him in Rome. Oh, many years ago. But one of the interesting things that he kind of approached me with was um, building a site for him, and I hadn't really thought about it until we were talking about the forum and discussing CMS sites. And one of the things that was very difficult to do while we were there in Rome was we had very limited actual usage of where we could host sites. What they had was something very equivalent to what we have for our AFS space. So all that he had access to was literally just, this is my university provided web access. I don't really have much other than this to actually put something on. What can you do with that? And I was like, I don't know. Let's see what there is out there. Which kind of leads me into bringing you to what I found at the time, which is CushyCMS, which is what I will present to you first. CushyCMS has been around for a while. It's a very simple CMS solution. There's not much that it does. Mike talked about contribute earlier during the forum, and it's basically that. If you can think of contribute, but think about it in a web form, that's what CushyCMS is. It's basically just that. It's just that it's a hosted solution. You don't install anything. It's just something that is on their servers. And the nice thing about it is that all you have to do is actually put some code into your HTML. And all you have to do is just put some code into your HTML. It's really easy. I'll scroll down here a little bit. And all it is just that nice little div class. You put in that class CushyCMS onto the specific areas that you want to have your users actually edit. So just like if you've used contribute before, you can say this area is editable. So the users that you create say, all right, I'm going to log into the system now. I can actually edit this area, and that's about it. So what I did was actually set up a site here. Let's go back over here. So I said, all right, Jens, I'd like you to be able to edit this. I'd like you to be able to edit your assignments page. I'd like you to be able to add some field notes. All right. You can probably add your assignments down here as well. So what we can do is actually go into the CushyCMS system. I'll log in. And because I am currently logged in as myself, which is the designer, I'm setting this up for Professor Kohler. You will see that I have the home page. I have some of these other areas. But what's nice is that I can actually go in here and say, I'm going to assign these other pages that he can edit. And it's going to show me the directory of all of the different pages that are up there within this site that I've created for him. So I'm going to say, I need to add my assignments. So let's add the assignments page. Assign that page. All right, and you'll see that it actually sets that up. What's nice is that I can go ahead and click on here on the actual assignments and see the content. And again, just like in WordPress, Drupal, all the other CMSs that we've seen before, it has a nice WYSIWYG editor up above here, but we can see all of the nice text that's been in here. If you want to see the source code, there is a button to see the source code. It has some integration so that you can see, you can add YouTube links, you can add images, all the different things that you can do with pretty much all of these. One of the nice features about this that they've added recently is revision history, so that he can actually go in and see all the different changes that he has made, which is great because numerous times throughout the year, he said, hey, do you remember when we changed this on the site? I was like, I have no clue. I was busy trying to write that paper that you assigned me and study about the Roman Forum that you said we needed to work on. So this is one of the great features that they said, hey, we should probably integrate that. So he can actually go in here and say, all right, I can actually go in and keep track of all the different changes that I made. So we'll go in. just like all the other sites, it has the ability to add users. Because this is my actual account, you see that I can actually view all the different pages. I can view all the settings for all of these, say where all the pages go to, what the actual file path is. But this is down here where it says editor. This is where I can add an account for him. Actually say, all right, let's add Jen's. I will actually add it to an email that actually exists, so that we can say, so that we can see. But what's nice is that when you're adding the editor, you can actually assign all the different pages that they're allowed to edit, so that you don't accidentally say, oh, okay, I'm going to give everyone access to all the pages. You can say, no, you're only allowed to edit your assignments and the home page, not those different areas in the footer. This works out really well, so that if you have a student, if he decided to say, okay, I have a student who's coming on board and they're going to be my intern, I don't want them to edit the assignments. I just want them to edit the home page. I can add that editor. They'll get an email that they can actually go in, log in, create all of their information. Once they log in, all that they will see in this Sites and Pages is just that home page. So that way they can actually go in, edit the home page. That's all that they see. One of the downfalls of CushyCMS that I have found, and which became very apparent when we were actually working on things like this, is actually in the field notes one, which isn't in here. So let me go ahead and quick add that page. So in field notes, he wanted the ability to actually add a quick note, but then say, okay, I want to do a read more section, allowing people to say, to actually go in and read a longer note, so I can actually write a full description of what this field note is. You know, we'd go out places, we'd do things. CushyCMS doesn't give you the ability of adding pages. So all the pages that you have up there that you've created with your system, that's all that you have, which is a hindrance. So if you created and built your own site, all the pages that you've made, that's all that you get. Which brings me to the second system that I have found, which works out much better, which is called PageLime. If I can type. PageLime, again, it's another one of these hosted systems. You don't have to worry about installing anything. All you have to do is log in, enter your information, and say, this is where my site is. These are all of my files. Let me go ahead and go in and edit. So I'm going to go ahead and log in here. And you'll see that when I log in, I have my site. And what's nice is that it actually gives me all these different options. I can go in and edit the site. I can see the sitemap. I can manage images. And this is a much more robust system. This one has many more options. So I can actually say, oh, okay, I have different field notes that I've uploaded. I can actually have those PDFs up there. I have these different images that I have. I have a full sitemap that I can actually go in and see all of my different pages in my full directory. So that this way what I can do is say, all right, I'm going to go in and go ahead and create that new page. So I can actually create a new page that is that field note and say what it is. So field note for 12/10/2010. And I've already created a basic template, so I will go ahead and create that. Oh. There we go. And it's created my page using my template. I click the edit, and there it is. It's a pretty nice system, and it works out really well, so I can actually just go in here and delete all this and say, at the fall forum. All right. Again, it has all the styles and headings just like all of our other systems that we've looked at. Once you go ahead and save it, there is a publish button. Page actions, save the draft, publish. So now that's a published page on our site. The other thing that became much easier with the PageLime system is creating repeatable regions. So for his assignments, instead of having to copy and paste everything for him, he wanted to be able to just say, okay, I want to repeat this entire region. PageLime actually lets you do that. So when you hover over this, you can actually say, all right, I'm going to repeat this assignment region. And so now you can see that it's actually duplicated the entire region. I can go in here and say, I'm going to edit this. This is now assignment 2. I can say okay and save it. When I go in here, instead of having it below there, I'm going to move it up so that the students know that there is actually a second assignment. I'm going to say publish. All right. The nice thing about both of these systems is that they have a lot of the search engine optimization built into it. They have a lot of the Google analytics built into it. So all you have to do is have your Google code built into your site. They'll actually take care of showing you the data. For some reason, PageLime server is down, but what's nice is that you can actually see your Google Analytics data right here. I'll actually log into if it's up. This is the Broadway Grand Rapids site for Wharton Center. But what it'll do is that it'll actually show you all of your analytics data directly in the application. So once you log in, it'll actually show you how many visits, how long people have been on your site, all the different information, so you don't have to log into a separate application to see that information. It's very helpful. They're very simple, and what's nice is that because you've built all of your own site with HTML and CSS, and you've built it semantically, which means that you've created an accessible site, you can take it anywhere. It doesn't require you have your own theme. You can say, oh, I don't want it here. I'm going to move it to a different server. You're not tied to one of these CMSs. You can use whichever one you want, which in certain cases with Professor Kohler worked out really well because he had certain restrictions. Yeah. I guess that's pretty much kind of where everything worked out with those two. Both of these, I have found the free solutions offer pretty much everything that you need for them. There are paid options for them. PageLime has, let me go ahead and go to the, PageLime has a couple different plans for you. Again, the free plan offers pretty much everything that you need. It only allows you to have 3 different sites hosted on your individual plan. But again, they are paid for monthly, which once you get into some of these higher options, gives you a lot of different options that you can have. It does allow you to, if you are in different departments here on campus to where you are hosting sites for other people, allows you to resell them so that if you are hosting things for other people and actually using it to, or even if you're doing this for a freelance, actually trying to make money off of this, it gives you that option as well. So these are the prices for PageLime. For CushyCMS, it's $28 a month, which is a pretty affordable price. But again, free is better, and they offer you pretty much everything that you need. I'll open it up to questions at this point.